actually often get 3 hours of sleep at tournaments. I don't know about how other people are involved, but tournaments, I'm in a new bed. I'm excited. I'm nervous. So poor sleep is not something that I'm foreign to, especially
Poor
in the
sleep?
first day.
No, not something that I'm foreign to either, but I believe I'm getting on in life now. Slightly older and slightly less ready to deal with less sleep. So
Yeah. I wish.
I'm just going to put it down to age.
Okay. If I could
I
ever get
did
sleep at tournaments, I'd be happy. But
well
it's a
many
challenge.
years ago when we used to run the Magnetic Island tournaments. It wasn't uncommon for us to still be up drinking and playing at 3 a.m. Before starting at 9 the next morning.
Yeah.
But there's no way I could do that these days.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, I think they're about to get started. Um, Lawson is probably the
and
main character in the documentary, the New Zealand documentary that we've plugged many a time on this channel. But he's a very,
I
very lovely character. One of the most interesting, charismatic people that I've ever seen in any country.
and I think he makes his own shirts, doesn't he?
He does. He makes a
Makes
shirt
Scrabble
that has
shirts.
4 or 5 different languages on it about Scrabble, and I think they're really cool. They're well designed. They're comfortable.
Well,
Uh,
there,
anyone
there's
wants
something else for me to have a look at. I have bought one or two Scrabble shirts in the past, and sadly predicted the size incorrectly, so they've gone to friends.
So Chris
So we've
plays
got,
Rax. I think Chris is Forza
I
if he
think,
sees it.
my screen's a little on the blurry side here, so I
Yeah,
can't quite see what he's actually played. I can see the racks okay,
I think he
but
played
the
Rax.
actual board,
Rax.
racks for 20.
Yeah, Forza's not the easiest thing to
I
find.
think I might have considered Zax rather than racks in that point.
Okay.
Um, but
Uh,
there's
Heeb is coming down for Lawson. Oh, Heben.
Heben.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Tack on the extra N. Yeah. That's a you know, whenever you see an X on the opening play, you almost always are going to end up overlapping it, so that makes a lot of
Oh,
sense.
it's okay.
He even does take an S for what it's worth. It evidently is a color.
That is nice. Okay, this is. I can actually see Heben now, so
That's good.
that's good. Yeah, it is good. So I guess my first thoughts might be something across the top of Heben.
Yeah, just keep paralleling.
Yeah,
Something with
keep
sex, maybe.
paralleling something with Zex.
ZO, maybe even. Just keep paralleling and I don't think there's anything. There's also the option of zeroth to the H in Heben. If
Oh,
you
that's lovely. I like that.
gets rid of one of his T's, scores a bit more than ZO does. So that's an alternative if he
Yeah,
wants.
and it opens the board up. I have to confess, I really prefer playing on an open board.
Okay.
I But I guess we probably all do, and if we weren't playing to be competitive, we'd love to have the board open all the time.
Yeah, it's one
But
of
that's
those.
not the name of this game.
Yeah, even for FORE over the top is actually also an option. If it that doesn't score well and doesn't leave well, but it is by far the most defensive. So if you want to play a
Yes.
more defensive game, you can play FORE and make the 4 parallels.
From memory, when I did play Chris, and I think I may have played him a few times online as well, he's
Uh,
not overly defensive, but we are looking like we're getting a little bit of a ladder situation happening here.
okay.
Or
Plays
starting to.
Tor. That's not a defensive play at all. TOR is
Oh, no, yes, because all the hooks. Sorry, I was just looking at the
yeah, Bat and Tor
staircasing.
both take a lot of hooks. So this is actually
Yeah.
going to be a pretty open board. Between this and Keban's and the fact that yeah, this is actually this one play has turned this board. 4 would have closed the board entirely. This play is actually the opposite. This is going to be an open board. It'll take a few turns, but we're gonna get
Well, there's
a
also
shootout.
bait as well, and Exxon, and
Yeah,
anything, virtually anything above the top of the H, I guess. So.
this is one of those boards you can't kill even if you wanted to. It's gonna yeah.
Oh, I never want to kill the board. I love the board. I love the board.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too competitive maybe. I close the board a lot
Ah,
actually. But you have to,
right.
it is bingoing at the end of the day, so you do have to bingo some too.
It is, and there is always well, certainly for me, there's always the desire to play the crazy words that you know that you shouldn't know. I think I said before, things ending with V, like Listserv and Tolozev and Stotanov and
And I've talked to Lawson
ridiculous
too, and
things.
Lawson also wants open boards for what it's worth. Lawson is not a closed board player at all.
He's
So
normally really quick, isn't he?
yeah,
From memory. I think the game I watched the other day with Lawson, he was playing really quickly.
yeah.
So,
He plays
but I guess
Doug.
there is a bit to think about this.
Yeah, there's not a lot of clear plays that he would like to play through Tora, but he just didn't have anything over there that's any good.
Yeah.
So this makes a lot of sense. Um, Chris does draw well. He draws another F and he draws the blank, but not really good spots here. There's the
No.
Tor spot. That's his
And
toss set up.
I notice I'm not getting vertigo at the moment. It seems like Lawson's playing upside down.
Oh yes,
Is
Lawson
that
always
right?
puts it down. Yeah, that's
All
a
right.
that's
So, yeah, he's like my friend Tim. Well, that's great. I need to thank him after for the lack of vertigo for this game.
so
So,
Toph comes down. Lawson with a very clunky rack here. Um,
yeah, that's nasty. Well,
yeah,
I mean, it's nasty, but there's obviously some lovely individual tiles, but I think I'd be trying to ditch the queue. I
I
hate the
wouldn't say
queue.
that the Q and the J are lovely tiles. They're pretty horrible. But
Well, they're good scoring tiles if you get the right spot, but I think I
yeah,
would be trying to ditch the queue.
for sure.
Um,
Quinn or something like that. Might just play
yeah,
Jin though. The J is not much better than the Q, and
the queue, and it would leave him with the U as well. But I'd still be more inclined to get rid of the queue, I think.
okay. He has QI.
Q, J. If he plays Queen, he's still got the U, unless he plays QUIN.
Yeah, QUI and let's. I don't know.
QUIN.
It just depends on whether you're willing to. He's actually going with. Oh, okay. He's going with QIN here.
He
That
is
does.
going with QIN.
Okay, he just doesn't want to leave the QI spot for like 40. I get that. That's always a little. Whenever you play the Q above a double letter score, it's always just like, well, if your opponent has an I, that's 40 points no matter what they have otherwise. So I get the
Yeah.
logic. Um,
So Chris with a lovely rack there with the Z and the blank and
yeah,
let's
the
see.
tort hooks are very tempting, but I don't think he actually has anything with them. But torta and torte are both words, so he's
Yes.
gonna be thinking about that a little bit. He does actually play P and or pair, and is going to keep all of
Pair
them.
and the Z. It's an interesting leave. I think I would have preferred to. I think I would have looked at doing something different. Um,
I want to get rid of the Z. I think the Z is stopping me from bingoing.
yeah, I think so too.
Um, does take it.
He has set up the, I guess there's a fez hook there, but I think looking at Lawson's rack, the JMRR T-U-Y.
Yeah, no,
It's
great.
very... That's not much fun.
Yeah,
Maybe Mur?
I think he's gonna play
Is,
Jut and Pert. I think is where it's probably the most standard play of the options available. Just scores so much more than anything else and gets rid of the J and the E.
yeah.
But you have to know that. You have to see Pert, which is not trivial. Both Pert and Pearl are. I think that he knows both of those words, but I think they're also not trivial to find. When you see pair, you're mostly looking at pairs. You're not looking at, other hooks.
Yeah. Um,
Um, where would Mur play? MU, I guess.
MYRRH. Or
Oh,
have I got the spelling of that
MERRH.
wrong?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just to dump and open things up a little bit. But like I said, I love an open board. So, but yeah, certainly the what he's playing now is a lot nicer.
Okay.
Or is it?
Well, try makes a lot of sense too. It gets rid of one of his R's. Um, it doesn't create
It
the
does,
overlaps
and
that Jut has, so I do get that too. Um,
does Pert take an S?
I don't think so. Percher and percher are both words, so I wouldn't think that that takes an S. I can check.
Because I
Um,
think Chris, yeah, I thought Chris was going to try that. Um,
no, it does not take an S.
and
Um,
he had the beautiful Borzois as well.
he did.
Oh
Um,
dear.
is Lawson going to take Perts? That's the other question.
Is he going to, yeah, do you take the 5 points? I think,
Oh, I always challenge. You should always. I'm a big advocate of never ever like challenging everything under the sun that you're not sure of, like 100% sure of. I don't think that 5 points is much of a deterrent at all. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make is not giving 5 points all the time.
yeah,
Lawson seems to be holding, but not
I,
challenging yet, I think.
I think maybe he's considering if he can make anything off that, but
Oh, you let it go.
I can't
Okay.
see anything. I mean, Joram doesn't do it.
He does have the C for the CH hook, or the CH above heapin. Um, so you can play something like Mock if you want, and Mock would set up JO over, on top of
It
that.
would too,
So
which would
that's
be an advantage, and I'm not sure that it's not that obvious of a setup. Um, well, Chris is drawn, so
yeah. I just assume that's been accepted.
so it's been accepted.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So I wonder where we're going from here then.
If Lawson doesn't play that, he has stuff like Mojo. He has JUCO, um, stuff that clears his rack a lot better.
Yeah.
Looks like he is going with JUCO here.
Yeah, going with Juco rather than Joko.
And that does block Epicea, which would have been pretty devastating if Epicea went down. Oh, he's picking it back up.
That was a null start for that one. All right, where are we going now?
I mean, he's still probably thinking about it, I would imagine.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Um, so,
It from Chris's perspective, he
interesting.
should be looking for bingos right now. Like he's just staring at his tiles, but I would like to see him move his tiles around because he's close to a bingo. But I don't think that he's the type of player who's gonna just look at that rack and know if he has bingos or not.
No, so it's weird. I find it very hard to think without them out if they're not in alphabetical order. So
Yeah.
I have to put them in my head as ACEIIS blank.
Okay.
and think of it that way.
I think
Otherwise,
Joy.
I just don't spot it.
Yeah.
So, and that's I never used to be like that. I used to be
Mhm.
a tile shuffler back when I had control of my hands from way back. But these days, it's impossible. So Joy's gone down,
Uh-huh.
and
Lawson is setting up Mucro with Joy, which is part of his logic, I think. I would have liked to see,
that's a nice setup.
and he draws pretty poorly, but still has Mucro.
Still has micro, and it would certainly clean up the W's
Mm-hmm.
as well. Chris, what is Chris looking at now? CEIILS blank.
Mm-hmm. And you're seeing, and Lawson does cash Mucro. You could tell that Mucro was on his mind when he played Joy. Joy wasn't a
Yeah,
play that he made haphazardly. He was just like, if I'm going to play
no.
Joy,
Well,
I'm playing Mucro.
there were too many other places that were
Yeah.
so much better.
I do like the fact that
I,
Lawson is a very creative player. I think that very, very few people would have played Joy. I'm not saying that's technically correct. In fact, I would probably strongly suggest that it's not technically correct. But I think it's fun and I think it's creative and I think it's like really expressive. And
it is, and it's a cool word.
yeah, I actually
So
I find watching Lawson to be one of the most fun players to watch. Even if I think that like again, technically, like maybe not somebody you want to copy if you're trying to be the next Nigel Richards, but still a lot of fun, a lot of interest, and a lot of really unique and generally well-founded ideas. Like Joy is not a play that I think is optimal. I think it's a play that's good, and I think that you can learn a lot to try to find plays like that, even if they're not. You're not going to see very many other players look for plays or make plays like that, but I
no,
do think that's really cool that he can do that.
and it is definitely fun.
Yeah. Anyway, Lawson gets 5 on top of the 40, so he is up. But Chris already has icicles lined up on his rack.
He does. So oh yeah, layer size. I saw layer size before
Yeah, he had layer
when
size
he
last turn.
back when he had the last rack.
Yeah.
Um,
Layer size.
and
Did layer size play? Oh, yeah,
I
played
think
along op.
Trot and
It played on the right. It
it
didn't.
played on op, and
Yeah.
I think he can now icicles plays with the op
Well, it plays with Hebens as well, and
and
also
Heben,
plays
but opens up
EH and
the
SCR.
top lane with Hebens. So chilies as
Yeah.
well. One of my favorite foods. Um,
He is sacrificing points.
Solicits?
I don't recommend sacrificing this many points. This is a pretty big point sacrifice. I
It
realize you are
is.
opening the triple, and I do get that you don't want to do that, but there
Well,
has to
one
be
of
some point where you're just like, this is a 13-point sacrifice. That's a lot.
it is a lot.
Um,
It is a lot.
yeah. It actually is going to work out pretty well here because Lawson's play would have been a lot better. Like, Lawson would have had divide through icicles, but this is a more unusual run out. And even then, I think it's not going to be that much different. I guess
It
you're leaving
will.
less floaters. There are some merits to sacrificing points for sure. If it were maybe 7 or 8, I would consider it.
I think I probably would have had to think about that a lot longer than what Chris did to decide which would be the optimal move.
Yeah.
Um,
There were also other bingos he could have played that were also defensive. Something like
oh
Silica.
yeah,
Um, the Leia size, which you were talking about earlier, is also more defensive.
yeah.
Would have
Layer
scored a bit
size.
more. Um, but this is gonna mostly work out.
I
It's
would
worth
be
noting.
wanting.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd be wanting to get rid of that ugly UV combo, but
Oh,
I
for sure.
can't see anywhere to do it with a reasonable score at this
Well,
point.
Yuva and
There
AI,
probably is.
um, anything with Yuva, you know,
Yeah, Uva, but you're still left with a double D there as well.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
VIED and DI looks at least reasonable. It
it
scores
looks,
30.
it looks the, it looks the best, I think.
Yeah. Um, it's worth noting this board looks kind of, if you look at the shape of this board and you're not like looking at the letters, this board looks really bad, but it's actually still pretty decent. There's a lot of lines, and there's a lot of lines that are going to create more lines. The AI, AI is going to hook for SAI and
And
RAI and
well,
things like that. And so there's still a lot of life in this board, even though the shape of the board doesn't look particularly great. Uh,
well,
Austin, or
there's stuff along the bottom as well. So
yeah, Lawson
um,
has. I'm not sure what Lawson has lined up. Viduan or something?
a Diu maybe, ADIEU video, or not video. Doesn't have an O. Vidua.
Viduan.
I don't know Vidua.
I don't
I
either.
don't think that's good.
It's not. Um,
Yeah, no, that's no good. Is Chris going to challenge it though?
we
It
will
doesn't
see.
look like.
Doesn't look like it. Again, always challenge. Always,
Yeah,
always, 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 always challenge. Um, you're much if you win one quarter of your challenges, you are way, 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 way better off than if you don't challenge. Even if you're giving 5 points, 5 times for every challenge that you win, you're still better off. You should just challenge, challenge, challenge.
yeah.
Uh,
So Chris obviously struggling for vowels a little bit, but at
yeah.
least there's quite a few that are nicely open for him. And he's going down quickly with
Uh-huh.
pay,
And this is one
which,
of those situations now where Lawson has to find devotee. Has to find devotee. It is the best play by a mile.
by a really long mile.
Yes, this rack is. He's basically lost unless he plays devotee, and if he plays devotee, it's almost even. Um, he's got to find it.
Well, fingers crossed for him, but fingers crossed for my buddy Chris as well. So
Well, I want the game to be interesting, and the game will
I
not be.
want the game. I want the game to be interesting, and he is
And
interesting,
there,
and
okay,
he has
got it.
found it.
Yeah, he's
Yep,
got it.
it's going down.
Chris is still comfortably ahead, but this is still a game now, whereas it wouldn't have been a game otherwise.
Well, it throws the cat amongst the pigeons, which is
Hmm.
also one of my preferred vineyards in the Clare Valley.
It's
So
a fun phrase.
the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yes.
I don't think any of my three cats would do well with that. So, so Chris is looking at some interesting stuff here. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of options. You can just play above pay and play something like up there. You can play through the D and devotee. You can hook the S.
yeah,
You can
some
block the you can block the Heben's hook. There's a lot of different things you can do here.
there is dwells. Dwells is cool, but
Hmm.
yep, going for what I nice.
Okay.
That's- So he's still up by a bit, but
Yeah.
Lawson's rack Aegiisu.
Yeah. A mess.
It's ugly. There's no way to get around the fact that that is ugly.
Yeah. And might he's probably gonna have to keep a lead that's not exactly what he's looking to keep.
No, I don't know that there are any good leaves, but it's certainly it's not time to change, I would think, either.
I don't think
So
it's not bad enough that you need to change.
it's not
But
that bad, but it's not pleasant.
yeah.
So, all right, what would I do? I would probably do something suboptimal, but I would be thinking about doing something better. Let's look for something cool.
I mean, if you're Lawson, you really also want to be killing some of the scoring spots on the board, but you need to probably need
Well,
to bingo.
he is behind, so I don't know if you can. I don't know if you want to kill all of them.
Well, you're not going to come back from this deficit probably by scoring your way out of it. You're probably going to have to come
No,
back from bingoing.
you're gonna need a bingo. You're gonna need a bingo, which to my mind is I would really like to get rid of at least one of the eyes and preferably the U as well. But at the moment, nothing is screaming out at me as being a good way to do that.
I mean, your options are what, like Aegis and Hebens? You don't want to kill the
Yeah,
board either.
but
Um,
I'd like to keep the S as well. I'm greedy with the S's. Let's hog them. Let's hog
well,
those S's.
it would be nice, but that's a lot of things to do, and I don't think there's
I
anything that does
know.
all of those things. You want to get rid of an I, you want to get rid of a U, you want to keep an S, you want to score points. Like,
I know. Look,
kind of
I'd
have
like
to
to rule.
pick
I'd like
here.
to rule the world if I could, and if I could do that, then I will make up some sort of weird Gaia Sui word that exists, which at the moment does not exist. I think the longest he's got is a guy's, but still,
Doesn't
that's
even
getting
play, I don't
doesn't
think.
play. Play in front of the YU, but it's just not worth it. So GIS, well, it's a decent score. So
Yeah.
for what's available, I, an ugly leaf though with the four vowels.
Yeah, and it's made ugly by the fact that there's not really a good spot for like these. There's not like a good Val bump spot.
No, and
Very
Chris is.
interesting by Chris here. He's playing land. I'm sure she saw stuff like Maul and just doesn't want to do it.
I would say so.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
I mean, the L's not great. The M is not
Handy that he's
great.
got the S. I would have.
Yeah. But Maul would have done the same thing. So this is clearly
Maul
this
would have done
conscious
the same thing.
choice. He's not like he didn't miss Maul. I,
No,
I don't think. So it's kind of interesting as to why he made this decision. I am a little bit curious. Um,
and we've got the same misbalance of vowels on racks. So Paul Lawson is full of vowels with AEEILUW,
mhm.
and Chris is left with one vowel. So,
Lawson doesn't need to worry a lot about lines here. Like normally he would
no.
love to play Wall and LI for 26, and by points and leave that is by far the best play, but it also
Yeah.
kills Hebens. And he needs Hebens. Like there's no other
Yes.
lines on this board. Plays Wiz. Um seems it doesn't kill Hebens. I think that's really
No.
important.
I think that's probably what's top of his mind at the moment.
Where Paul, on the other hand, needs to kill Hebens. Like melting is what he needs to do, and
I think Chris is gonna open up. Chris is
interesting.
okay. Very.
More fun, but I'm not sure if it's the best idea to be playing something like that.
No. Well, I like it because it's fun.
Wait, did he play men's?
He played men's, and
Is that a
I don't
word?
think it's coming off either. I don't think it's a word, but I don't think it's being challenged. Are they holding or?
Um, well, his tiles are upside down, which leads me to believe that Lawson might be holding, but no, he didn't hold that
No,
either.
no. I think I think it's gone through.
Okay, again, people who are watching, if you're going to learn anything from this game, challenge everything. These are some of the best players in the world, and even they sometimes do not play valid words. And I think that, you know,
Well,
you don't have to be
I
right all
think
the
we
time.
can. I think the best way to remember that is there is no men's room from a feminist perspective. There
Yeah,
should be no men's room. So yeah, there's no men's.
yeah.
You can have mans, but no men's.
Well, trying to apply logic to all Scrabble words is a bit of a
Is crazy.
dangerous.
Absolutely crazy. All right. So
Um,
I wonder with all of those vowels. So I did go through all of the five vowel eights a while ago. I don't think there's anything that
no.
Lawson's got there that's playable. No bingo's playable, nothing with the M.
His rack is pretty good though. The N particularly in his rack is a really good tile given the G's and the T and the two G's and two T's in the pool. So he really
Yeah,
wants to hold on to that tile specifically. The other
definitely. And
tiles,
maybe
less
just
so.
reduce the vowel vowel consonant ratio a little bit.
Yeah, the M is kind of a weird thing at the top because a lot of the time Chris is going to be blocking next turn, or at least he should be. And the M and the E
Well,
going left is actually one of the primary lines that is probably not going to get blocked because he's going to want to block Keebans and he's going to want to block the E, particularly in men's. So you're
well,
trying to
I'm
figure out what you're going to get left.
given that Chris played men's up the top there. I'm not sure if he's sure that Heben takes an S.
Yeah, that might be the case here.
That I think that might be part of the driver for this, and the reason that that lane has gone unblocked.
Okay.
Um, I could be wrong, though.
The other thing to keep in mind is that Lawson has no ability to create any more lanes. There's no way to open the board anymore. The board is just this is the board. This is all
It's
the lanes you're going to get. You're not going to open another
yeah.
one. There's no way to do that. So Lawson can't be thinking about opening the board. There's nothing left to open.
So I wonder, is this the most phonies that have been played in the Trans-Tasman to so far to this time,
It's most that
or
I've
possibly
seen.
ever?
Maybe ever.
Certainly,
It's
I don't remember seeing any that had as many yesterday
yeah, this is
when I
three
was watching.
phonies. This is three phonies is a lot, for sure.
It is a lot.
Okay, so
Chris goes down quickly,
yeah.
putting some time pressure on.
So he played Geek, and you can kind of see why I was talking about, like, I would actually even think about keeping the U for exactly this reason, because now, like, IUM is
Now
kind of
the
the lane,
IUM, yep.
but
And
that's kind of
is
predictable, actually.
Lawson missing a tile there, or I can only see six on his rack.
Yeah, you know,
Oh no, there we go. We have EEILNNT. I know that word, but I don't think that goes down anywhere.
nope.
And I don't think it makes any playable eights.
And I think that Lawson's in pretty tough shape now,
Yeah, he is.
because he's not going to be able to create another line, and he's going to need a bingo. And,
We could
well, on
we
top
could
of that, the blank has been drawn, and it's not by him.
yeah. We could say this game has not been lenient to him.
Oh, and the bag is also empty.
Ah, the bag is empty.
Okay.
Oh well, at least he has the perfect knowledge, but I don't think that's going to help
Yeah.
at this stage.
If I were Lawson, I'd be definitely looking at, or Chris, I'd be looking at the gram thing. There's almost things like Telegram and things like that, but I don't think anything quite fits. There's also
No.
almost a lot of things though that would go over there. He's playing Tweenling, which is definitely creative.
It is.
I mean, it's worth a try, I guess. Maybe.
Is it going to stay down?
Of course not.
Are we going to stay a record have a
Even
record
Lawson is
number of
shaking, like just
phonies?
shaking his head and laughing, being like, "No, like, yeah, of course this is not a word. This is completely ridiculous." But I can't blame him for trying.
No. Well, look, like I reckon as Hail Marys, it's certainly not the worst one that I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure,
It's certainly a lot better than many that I've tried.
for sure.
And Chris still with 15 minutes on his clock, so
Yeah.
he's got plenty of time to think about this.
Well, there's nothing to think about here. It's there's something to think about in terms of bingoing himself. That like he isn't too far off from. He can think about like, he's free to try things like kilogram or something like that if he
Yeah.
wants to try and see if there's something there. There's like things ending in log maybe, or I don't know. But yeah, probably there he could. I mean, does take an A hook, so in theory he could hit things like starting with A over there to the C,
Through
but
this, I
with a blank C
am.
and icicles,
Oh, the
there's enough
blank
room.
sea. Okay, I'm looking at the other sea going, I can't see that sea. Where is
Yeah,
the sea that you speak of?
but he can just win the game this way. That works too.
That works too. Yeah. Well, I don't think there's. Yeah, I think it was all over, but
Yeah, but
I
that is a
still have to.
lane.
I still have to admire Tweenling. I just hope that now that I've seen it, I don't end up playing it again in about a year.
But yeah, like mens and mensa are both words, so like he's not that Austin's not that far from, let's say, a Olympic or something like that. I mean,
Almost LinkedIn,
yeah.
if we wanted to promote a social network.
Oh, we've already got enough social media out there.
I think we do too. We need more Scrabble, then less social media.
Yeah,
Although I guess are we a form of social media at the moment? My God, we might be.
we are, but
But we're keeping it clean.
we're trying.
We're trying.
Though earlier, when I streamed last time, that someone played the word "fuck" on the board on like turn one, so that was just on the board the entire game.
Well, sometimes it's unavoidable, and
Yeah,
realistically, we go for the best play. We don't really care
yeah.
that much about the meaning. Well, that was nice,
And
I
there's
guess.
Mets. Yeah.
There's Vince, as predicted.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna go and buy a lotto ticket, Kenji?
For what? I don't
Predictions. Your
know.
predictions are coming true.
Some of them are coming true, but I also not all of them are coming true. I've missed a few of them.
All right. Well, where are we going?
Anyway, this is a
We have it.
win for Chris.
It is a
Uh,
win for Chris.
Wins by about
Um,
100. Well, a little
yeah,
short, 77.
yeah. So
Interesting game.
it was. It was a very interesting game. It's
Challenge more
so
phonies. Lawson's gonna get to see all of the
yeah,
phones that
challenge more
on the board.
phonies there.
Oh, it's
And
just
we're
taking a
getting a
picture.
photo of the board there. Is anyone using the Scrabble board app, I wonder?
I don't know.
I think Mattel put one out where you take a photo of the board and it automatically adds things up for you.
Okay.
Why you would do that, but I tried using it.
Well,
Um,
the hope is that eventually what we're going to have is we're going to have a stream that automatically keeps track of the score without having, like, right now, Alex behind the scenes is doing all of it.
yeah,
So what hope is eventually Alex won't have to do any of this and the app will just tell us the score automatically. That's what the hope is with that app.
yeah.
That's why it's being developed. But it's not quite there yet.
So there's a guy in Canada that I've been working with. He's developing a web-based score sheet, um, basically for me, I feel very privileged. He's lovely. So it's called Adnoto,
Okay. Um,
ADNOTO.org, and it's a free app. So it's very useful that you can score your own game, be it social or for me, because I can't do it any other way, not having the hand function to do it. You can
mhm.
score your own game, you can export it to Quackle, you can export it to cross tables, but it's also a really valuable thing if you're trying to get particularly kids, I think, to transition
Yeah.
from playing online where everything is added up and tile tracked for them. They can still use this app to do that in the beginning, but then not. So,
Yeah.
oh, I think they're resurrecting the board, and it's not even Easter. But yeah, this app, if anyone wants to check it out, we're still in beta mode, but I think it's got value, particularly for people that play online and don't want to have to do adding up and tile tracking themselves. They can still do that and play that in real life with their friends. So it's and it will be very helpful for me. Although at the moment the tournament mode is taking me at least 50 minutes for a game, so I am going to be struggling with time big time.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, at least we're gonna have an interview with Chris after this game, so we will stand by for just a minute while that is being organized. Uh, Evidently, I did miss entirely that try takes an e-hook, which is kind of relevant. Probably was something that was part of the logic of playing try when Lawson played that rather than playing jet, just for what
I
it's worth.
did know that, but I missed it as well. So,
Yeah. But that makes Joy even better because then Joy not Joy is also defensive and
but
including
it's
typing up
also,
intro. Yeah, kind of cool.
yeah. So, well, I think the thing that we should be considering for the next lexicon is definitely tweenling. Tweenlings everywhere.
One of the it's something between what would a tweenling be exactly?
Mm, I'm
Something
trying to
someone
think of a
between
definition for that.
something between a teenager and a child and a teenager, but small in stature, I guess.
Maybe. Maybe. A short 12-year-old.
Yeah.
There we go. We've got a definition for tweenling. Now all we
Okay.
need to do is get it into the lexicons.
Good luck with that. We need to get things like keyring into the lexicon first, or a keychain. Sorry.
Keychain. Keychain, yes. Keychain is not in there?
No. There's lots of things that are much better than tweenling. That
Yeah.
I actually maintain a list of words like that, but I digress.
Oh,
There's thousands of them.
What's that?
I would play this.
Hello? Hello?
Hey,
Hello,
Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, hi, how you going? Yeah, please don't point out my mistakes. I'll get jumped for it. But thank you. Yeah, that was fun.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the game? Did you think
Well, I
that
liked it because I got both blanks.
okay,
But it was
never hurts?
interesting. Yeah, and I was lucky. You saw I picked up Z and X at the very first rack,
Hmm.
and I held onto my Z for a while until I got a good play, and that came along. So I was,
Yeah.
that was something that I was pleased about because I could have played a lot earlier. But,
Okay.
I liked that. And when he played Devotees, that was a good find too.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Kept the game going.
Yeah, unfortunately. because I thought I had an S and I was going to put that there and ruin everything, but then when you put that there, I didn't I forgot that men's isn't pluralised, and I think the problem is I've seen too many toilets with men's written on them. Yeah, and quite frankly, I think that's why I put it. But anyway, it turned out all right for me, so it was a good game.
So I was just curious, when you played land instead of mall, what was your thinking? Instead of like mall, like you clearly made a conscious decision to play land instead of mall.
Because, well, either way, I thought the N and the D were going to be a difficult thing to play a bingo from, maybe.
Okay.
That was my thinking. I didn't sort of, I like, yeah, I suppose that would have been a better play. I would have left me with an N and a D. Maybe I didn't think it through enough, but anyway, that was my mistake, perhaps.
Well,
yeah.
If you like the L and the M better than the N and the D, that's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because I didn't have a winning break at that stage either. So I was also thinking the M, if he did something, the M would score a bit higher if I played off his, say, bingo or whatever it was. And that was another reason I wanted to hold on to the M, because the others were all low scorers.
Yeah.
So that was my thinking there too at one stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be interesting to listen to your commentary when I get the score back. But I'm pleased, yeah. So because yeah, well, I'm the lowest rated player in the tournament, so I'm really happy. So yeah.
Yeah, you've won some games.
I've won a couple of really unexpected ones, a couple of real upsets. So
I'm pretty well.
Yeah, I can do all right sometimes. Yeah, I don't have the vocab that some of these others have. But yeah, still, it's a good game, and I'll play it forever.
Yeah. You have any questions, Julie?
No, I think that's great. So, hey, Chris.
Hey, Julie? How are you?
I'm good. I'll miss you at trivia tomorrow night, but you're doing well. No trivia tomorrow night. It is Julie Brice.
Oh, no. I would have played better if I knew you were watching.
Oh, well, there you go. You know, we should have let you know up front, shouldn't we?
You should have. Oh, how are you? Anyway, lovely to hear you.
I'm very well. So good. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. So,
what do you think of tweenlings? Should tweenlings be in the dictionary?
No, definitely not today. Maybe next year, but not today.
Maybe next year.
Tweedling is really close, yeah. And if he had a D, Tweedling would have won it for him. But, the D, he didn't have the D. Tweedling. He
wasn't just tweedling his thumbs.
No, I wasn't. Oh, please, none of those dad jokes that Greg always says. Yeah, that's very true. All right, so that's So I had a great time, and nice to know you're watching. So.
Well, I will, and I'll be watching again tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. I've got to play tomorrow with Jo. I've got to play her on this table. She beat me by 320 this morning.
Ouch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She started with 3 bingos, and it didn't get any better. So
she does that sort of stuff. Jo does.
Yeah, we know her too well. She's she had played it really beautifully. So. But you can only do what you can do.
This is true. Yeah. This is true. Yeah. So, did you know Hebens, by the way?
No, I didn't, and that's why I didn't want to take a risk.
I was wondering about
and that does take an S, does it? Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
It just sounds like one of those words that might not.
As opposed to hurt, which does not take an S.
Yeah. Well, Heben sounds like en sometimes. Woken. Words sometimes are like that, and I wasn't sure. I didn't know. So I didn't play it, but in the end, where icicles went was very useful because it was with the 2 C's was a nice blocker. You couldn't do too much with it, so that was pleasing. But anyway, so there you go. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Good.
Okay.
Good job. Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll need it, but I'm pretty happy with what I've got, so I'll do my best.
And I think where you are, Chris, it must be just about 1 o'clock.
5:30. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
time for a glass of wine.
Yeah, I don't have to drive Greg home, so that means I can drink. So
Yeah.
that's good. So, all right. Okay
Ha-
then,
have a
guys.
have a ce- have a celebratory drink, and
I'll have another one for
I,
you. How's that?
and absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
All right.
Really appreciate it. Now,
Thanks.
I'll
Take care.
appreciate your commentary too. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you
Chris.
later. Bye.
Okay. See you.
I didn't know it was Julie Brice. I'm playing against you trivia every Sunday night.
Well, there we go. Well, that's been really fun. What a great afternoon.
I'll come here tomorrow.
So, now I think, are we still on, Kenji?
I think we're still on. We're just taking a look at all the, playing room. I guess the stream doesn't even see the playing room, so we're just here to entertain the viewers for the next 5 minutes. Just
Oh, there we
until
go.
can.
So
Maybe we can get the standings up, Alex, if we're, I don't know if that's something that,
I haven't seen the standings for hours, so I'm really interested in that.
yeah. If not, we can just take any questions from chat if you have anything you want to ask us, feel free to come and, go ahead.
Oh, people are asking the game score between Aussie and New Zealand by now. And apparently after round 16, New Zealand led 111 to 81, so they've still got the 30-point margin up there.
Yeah, that's pretty. They're starting to run out of time here. 30 points at this stage is quite a lot.
It is. That is.
So you can see the standings. You
Yeah.
can see Tower, Dylan, Blue all have the same record too. 6 people in New Zealand with 10
Significant
plus.
difference in margin.
Only 1 in Australia, and
Well,
Chris.
Russell, I think my friend Helen is commentating on one of Russell's games tomorrow.
Okay.
A friend from WA.
Okay.
Who has, I think, my favorite name in all of Scrabble.
Everyone doing mostly holding their own a little bit though. No one, it's not. Everyone has at least 4 wins.
Yeah.
Lots of people towards the middle. So everyone's doing okay. It's not like, we got a few people who are. It's just most of the people in New Zealand are towards the top, and most of the people in Australia are kind of in the middle. So.
Given that I'm an Australian, can I blame jet lag?
So evidently the magic number to win the tournament is 145 wins. So New Zealand needs 34, whereas Australia needs 64. So Australia has to win almost 2/3 of their games if they want to win the tournament, which is hefty. That means 8-4 every round here on out, which is sizable.
That's a lot to ask for. So
yeah. So thanks for watching. This has been the coverage of day 2 of the Trans-Tasman Championship. Stay tuned tomorrow for more action. Until next time, this is Kenji, and this is Julie signing off. Take care, guys.
see you guys. Thank you.